what's up everyone, it's me, Sheikher, here at Film Gob, and I'm just back from watching Captain America Civil War, and I thought I'd come on here and do a quick kind of spoilery discussion about what I thought about the film. I don't plan on doing a full review. I might change over the next day or two, but in the meantime I just thought I'd come on here, give you kind of initial thoughts basically. So what did I think about this Marvel film? I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I thought the film lacks a lot of kind of, for a lot of characters and like high stakes, apparently high stakes in this film, there's a very kind of a lack of emotional depth. It's very hollow, it's very by the numbers. I mean, I'll tell you what I liked about the film, I'll tell you that first. So basically, we've got Spider-Man, Peter Parker, who I thought was pretty good. I was kind of worried, a bit annoyed that they would go for such a young Peter Parker in Spider-Man, but it actually reminds me a little bit of a young Tobey Maguire in a way. I thought he was quite good. I liked Black Panther. There was some kind of emotional kind of moments with him. You know, when his dad dies, I liked his character, his costume, his fight scenes, very well done. I liked the Vision. He had some like really nice kind of deep kind of dialogue. Very, like I said earlier, it was very kind of hollow, the film, but his kind of dialogue and his characterization I thought was quite good. Would have liked to seen more of it. Well, actually, let me tell you about some similarities that this film has with Batman v Superman. So we start off with an incident in an African city. The Avengers are the cause of civilian deaths, very similar to Man of Steel. Batman v Superman leads into that. The bombing of a political government building. Yes, they bomb the UN building, which kind of comes out of nowhere. Very similar to the bombing of the Senate. We have a villain who manipulates events to bring our heroes to fight each other. Very similar to Lex Luthor. So, there's a few similarities here. And I wonder if the people who are so annoyed about Batman v Superman, I wonder if they are going to complain about Civil War the way they complained about Batman v Superman. Probably not a chance. So the film starts with, like I said earlier, an incident in this African city, and the action in this opening scene reminded me something out of G.I. Joe. I thought to myself, this doesn't look like a fucking Marvel film. The action is it looks kind of speeded up, and there's a lot of shaky cam, and just the kind of overall kind of direction just reminded me something out of G.I. Joe and Jason Bourne. I was like, what the fuck is this? This film takes a long time to get going in some ways, because people complain about Batman v Superman, or it takes too long for them to fight. Like, what the fuck did you expect? Did you expect them to fight at the beginning of the film? Like, what's wrong with you? Now, in this film, yeah, the same situation is present here. It takes quite a while for things to actually come to a head, but everything leading up to that is not that interesting. All we get is a back and forth, argument about, we should be put in check, the Avengers should be put in check, no we shouldn't, we would be betraying who we are, and blah blah blah. So that's all you hear leading up to the airport battle, which is kind of pretty much ends the second act, I would say. I mean, fair enough. Another moment in the film that I really liked was the battle at the airport. Some stuff in it kind of annoyed me, like, Hawkeye and Black Widow basically having a laugh at each other while they're battling. I didn't understand that. Now, the scene where Captain America is chasing Black Panther, who's chasing Bucky, that scene looked like a fucking cartoon. That looked ridiculous. I thought I was watching Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. One of the dumbest things about this film is Tony Stark goes to a young Peter Parker's home and tells him, I want you to help me out, fight Captain America and his rogue Avengers. Like, are you fucking serious? You want to bring a young teenage boy who's only been Spider-Man for 6 months, because he says it in the film, I've only been Spider-Man 6 months. And Tony Stark, he finds out his identity, doesn't tell Aunt May and this and that, but you're going to bring this kid into a battle with that one half of the Avengers? Are you fucking serious? Doesn't make any sense. And I'm not someone who sits there going, what's the plot holes and blah blah blah. I'm just kind of sitting there accepting what they're giving me. But even sometimes my Sheikher sense sometimes goes off, and I just can't accept. Oh, you say they had a script for Spider-Man to be in Civil War before they got the rights? Bullshit. This is just forced in. I'm telling you, it's forced the fuck in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Peter Parker. Tom Holland is good. The CGI Spider-Man that we see is good, I guess. It does seem forced in there, and the amount of people who are going to go and say, oh, this is the greatest comic book movie ever, full of shit. Now, Tony Stark, as far as I remember, I don't remember there being any kind of controversy about, the death of his parents. Somehow they've crammed in this idea that, they died in a car accident caused by the Winter Soldier, and when Tony Stark finds out towards the end, that's when they start fighting. Like, fuck that. This seems so kind of lazy, and you're probably wondering, who dies? Oh my god, so we need to know. All you Marvel fanboys are always fucking dying to know who's going to die in this one. Nobody dies. Peggy Carter passes away. Captain America gets a text on his phone. Oh, Peggy, she's passed away. He goes to her funeral. That's it. Do you think Marvel can be that bold that they would kill any of these characters? No, because they're not. They're fucking middle of the road, cookie cutter bullshit. Rhodey, he basically gets shot out of the sky by Vision, who was aiming for Falcon, and then he's taken to hospital, and then it turns out he's paralysed. We only find out at the end that he's kind of paralysed, and he's using an exoskeleton given by Tony Stark to help him walk, and that's that. Then you've got, do you think Bucky might die? Nope, he doesn't die. Do you think they're going to go along with what the comic book was about, where Captain America dies? Nope, Captain America doesn't die. Do you think they're going to flip the script and make Iron Man die? No, that doesn't happen either. So everyone dying to know if anyone dies or who's going to die, someone's going to die, forget about that. That's not what this is. This is not Civil War. This is not... I kind of find it hard to believe that the people who grew up reading these comic books, like I grew up, I've got a ton of comic books that I love, and they're never going to see... I'm never going to see them on screen, because what Marvel are doing, they're not doing anything for the fans. They are pandering to the general audience. What will the general audience accept and not accept? They're going to... You want stupid jokes that are just kind of forced in? Yeah, we'll give you that. Do you want colours and big action scenes? We'll give you that. But as far as anything complex or interesting that the comics offered, you won't be seeing at all. And the way the film ends, it's as if there's no... with Marvel films, they seem to... They're always teasing what's coming and what's coming ahead and this and that. So the post-credit scenes, I watched the first one, which was kind of hinting at, Black Panther, the movie. I didn't wait for the after-credit scene, because that's just Peter Parker apparently in his room, staring at some kind of gadget. Don't care. I read about it, so I was like, so what? But for Marvel films that are always teasing what's ahead, there's not much, the way this film ends, there's nothing for me to go, oh, I can't wait for that. It just it just ends. You know what I mean? You get a nice letter sent by Steve Rogers to Tony Stark. I'm sorry, messed up, but you know, this and that and blah blah blah, and we'll meet again. I have no issues when it comes to the tone of the film, the pacing of the film. That's fine. It's just everything in it, well, a majority of the writing is very uninteresting. Either I just feel that way about comic book films, or especially the ones by, you know, Marvel Studios, or maybe these films are lacking in any kind of excitement. I'm sorry, but there's not much in this film that excited me. Maybe Ant-Man during the airport battle was quite exciting. It's quite good visually. You know, the kind of ideas they had when he goes into Tony Stark's suit and you know, stuff like that. He turns into Giant Man. I'm sure people loved that. I quite enjoyed it. And when it comes to the marketing of this film, you've got, you know, are you Team Cap or you're Team Iron Man, or what are you? How about Team Neither? Because these guys just go back and forth. It's the same argument. You can see both sides of the story. They're both being very selfish, and it's like pointless in the end. There's no right and there's no wrong. They're just having a kind of a dispute. There's a lot of humour in this film that it was so kind of lazy and kind of predictable, kind of pandering to general audience, you know, because in my screening there was only like one row of girls who would laugh at anything, pretty much anything. I remember people talking about, before I went to see Batman v Superman, they were talking about the editing is a problem, the editing, and I was like, what do you mean the editing? Are you talking about the frame to frame transition? Are you talking about the structure of the scenes? That's what it was the structure of the scenes. But in this case, nobody's going to talk about the editing in this. The over editing, the fast editing, the kind of jarring, like what the fuck am I watching? It reminded me a little bit of Taken 3. That is bad. And people don't, if you think the Russo brothers are, you know, these guys are going to do Infinity War, you better be fucking worried. So when it comes to Captain America Civil War, or as I like to call it, Avengers 2.5 Civil War, I have to give this a 2.5, which is pretty much the same score I settled on for Age of Ultron. Not as like cringe-tastically stupid as Age of Ultron, but poor in different reasons, like I've mentioned. If you're going to watch this review and you're going to leave a stupid comment at the bottom of this video, like you've clearly not seen the film. You've not seen what I was seeing. Blah. I have seen the fucking film. You may have your opinion, but this is mine. This is my channel. I'll tell you my opinions. You can agree with it. You can not agree with it. I don't fucking care. So there you have it, everyone. These are my initial thoughts on the film. It's not really a full review. I can't be bothered doing a full review. What's the point? I'm not some kind of critic. So this is, I mean, pretty much Shorty. You know Shorty on my channel. He's done a rotten review. He didn't even watch the fucking film. He just went on Rotten Tomatoes and picked out the negative comments and made his review from that. And he gave it 5 out of 10. It was a big disappointment because again, I keep giving Marvel chances to, you know, impress me, wow me, but I get nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm really looking forward. Like in my trailer reaction for X-Men Apocalypse, I didn't see much that kind of impressed me. It actually worried me a little bit about that film. But while I was doing a little video of which I cannot upload to YouTube because YouTube are fucking dicks. Copyright ID and copyright strikes and this and that. So I did a music video. So you know that the X-Men Apocalypse final trailer uses an instrumental version, instrumental song of Filter's Hey Man, Nice Shot. So what I did was I decided to do a 90s style music video, taking some of my favourite clips from the X-Men trailer, mixing that with the music video for Hey Man, Nice Shot by Filter. So I've uploaded it on Vimeo, because they're the only ones that are allowing me to upload it, and I'll leave a link at the bottom. So while I was editing that video, I was looking at the clips that I'd chosen, the ones that are kind of stood out, you know, the action scenes from X-Men Apocalypse, and I'm actually more excited now for that film than I've ever been, than any trailer that has made me feel. So yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, I loved Days of Future Past. That to me is one of the best kind of comic book films. Days of Future Past, Deadpool, and they're being done by Fox Studios. They seem to know what to do. I mean, okay, they fucked up with Fantastic Four, but yeah, this, man, the MCU is just kind of stale and predictable, by the numbers. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay. Let it go. 2.5 out of 5 for Captain America Civil War. This is Sheikher, and I'm out.